saving our first kiss for our wedding day.
Among other firsts.
Tithing to TLC, welcome to Plathville Part 2. Like, dude, that's what I will never get over. You're her dad. Like, her talking about her bumping snugglies. I'm thinking about it. I just think, run away. Where I left you, we were talking about Moriah, and then it goes over to Lydia, which I said is easily probably the most parentified child. A lot of her scenes were, hey, I'm doing all of this and no one is helping me out. Even mom's sitting on the couch, dad's at work. I'm running this entire household because, like a lot of these huge families, two people are going to have a heck of a time raising that many kids. So the responsibility typically falls on the oldest, and Lydia took on a lot of that responsibility. She is now set to be married, which is part of the 7th season that starts on July 22nd, and they have waited until their wedding day to kiss, and like Dad says, do other things. Even though that's not my style, I like to know what I'm getting into or what my forever is going to look like in certain areas. If it's your choice, that's totally cool. But the clear waters of choice get a little bit muddied when you add growing up in complete isolation and parents who really should have worked out a lot of stuff before they ever had children. The next child in line, number 6, is Isaac Plath, and I actually mentioned him yesterday, but throughout the show, he does come across as more of like the mild child trying to stay out of it, peacekeeper, that sort of thing. Now, all of these family roles are usually present and dysfunctional. I haven't shown you that in a while. Hold on. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but pretty good infographic. So you've got your mascot, you've got your scapegoat, you got your chief enabler, lost child, and family hero. So all of these kids could fit into these categories. These categories can shift over time. And if you see yourself in this infographic, I'm sorry for coming at you like that. I know that was rude of me. I apologize. In my life, I have been the family hero, the lost child, the chief enabler, the scapegoat, and the mascot over the years. So it's fluid. For instance, like if you follow this family, then we're probably going to put Moriah here, although things have changed a lot throughout the years. Chief enabler, we might put dad in there. I think we might put dad, then we could also put mom, but I think it might be dad. Then we have the family hero, that's Lydia, obviously, and so on and so forth. One wrong word, and you can go from here to here, and that dynamic also creates tension amongst siblings. And when people tell you, yes, we were raised in the same house, but we were not raised in the same house, believe them. This dynamic is why people were very, very surprised to hear that Isaac and Micah got in a fight at a wedding. There was a lot of stuff going on, alcohol, dysfunction, issues from the past, that sort of thing. Something was said, and the find out phase was entered. I wish I could tell you what was said. Wheedling a little hole right here through me, but if you tell everything that you hear, then nobody's going to tell you anything. So the find out phase resulted in Micah basically almost losing his nose. What everyone has been calling it is his nose was almost ripped off. That brings us to the 7th Plath child, who unfortunately passed away in 2008 after a farming accident. Mom thought she had all the kids accounted for. She did not, and ran over her 17-month-old. It's a horrible tragedy, and like I said the last video, I just really, really hope that she gets the help, professional, real, not through like her group and all of this stuff, to really kind of unpack a lot of this, because if she doesn't, it's just the same saga. She's gonna keep going. The Plaths also have 3 other minor children ranging from 12 to 16, but considering they couldn't even give their permission to be on TV, which is true about a lot of these a few years back, we're not really gonna go that deep into it. I hope everything's good for them, and I hope they get out when they're 18 if that's something that they're looking to do.
When that child is a young human being and they're in their the ages when they are most moldable, what would you be teaching them?
ABCs, reading, writing, how to climb trees.
Jumping over to Ethan and Olivia, I want to make one thing really, really clear. Speaking out when things have happened to you that are bad does not make you bad. And if there are enough recordings, even from the show, and then private recordings, and just a mountain of evidence that things were not cool, right? And you still turn around and you're like, oh, you're the bad one. Maybe you should remember that just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that they can't be hurt by someone else. The conversation that was recorded that this is from was about 10 minutes long, so you can go listen to that on Olivia's thing, because I just can't play a 10-minute, clip or whatever. But some of the comments had me a little shooketh. This doesn't sound like that. It sounds like a different opinion. So here's the thing is, withholding intimacy was what he was doing until she said that the other opinion was hers. And when she wasn't, continued to berate her. At that point, if you both don't agree, then you need to get a divorce, which they're going through a divorce, but he's been dragging his feet through this whole thing, filled the paperwork out wrong, this sort of thing. Not to mention, if your kid is going to come home and let you know that they're any part of the LGBTQIA plus community and you will no longer be supportive of them and love them, please don't have kids. That's it. Now, this conversation was centered around if their child came home and identified as a different gender, what would her response be? And then he goes into that whole public school thing, which in our next video, I'm going to explain this to you and debunk something, especially, the cat one. Your public school teachers barely have time to take a lunch. They're not doing that. But anyway, I'll see you at the next video.